Namaste. Today I am going to speak on the teacher called Osho Rajneesh. Remember my words very clearly. I am not telling him as a master, I am telling him as a teacher. Now there are 3-4 points which are very good about Osho Rajneesh. The first one, he was the first guy to break the taboo of sex. In fact, the birth of the Tantra in terms of sexuality was opened up in a major manner by Osho Rajneesh. Today you see a lot of teachers in the realm of sexuality, Tantra, Kundalini, all that was opened in a major manner by Rajneesh. The second thing was Rajneesh was such a extraordinary person about in terms of knowledge. He spoke about Zen, Tao, Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Song of Saraha. In fact, I was very lucky to stay in Trichy in Mohan Bharati's place. They had a Osho Rajneesh ashram there, and he had almost the 540 books. But I could not afford to read all the books because it was very expensive. In fact, I went on to stay in that particular place for a lot of months, and I read a lot of books about Osho. In fact, I used to love the title like Ding Dang, Dock Dang, Tao, the Zen, everything. Amazing range. I have never seen a teacher who could speak about a tradition so much on a very superficial level. Of course, it was without a practice. The third most important thing about Rajneesh was he was a very tantric man in his approach. Though he was born in a Jain family, Rishabha Lagna, a lot of planets were in the 8th house. He was very, very tantric in his approach. He never had any rules, regulation. In fact, he went on to buy a lot of Rolls Royce. I felt he was addicted to Rolls Royce. He was addicted to luxury. And I saw the interview of a lady who worked for him, Ma Sheila, who told he used to take 60 milligram of drugs every day. And also his eyes was extraordinary eyes. The eyes which shone like a torchlight, which very few people had. But of course, I wanted to be in the Osho ashram and all that thing. Then later one man told me, he said he has Vak Siddhi, so you'll be addicted to his words, so don't get carried away. Remember, the sadhana is too long a thing, and remember that. And he was a sadhu. He got a book, myself and him, we went to Giri Traders. He took a book, How I Have Reached God. That was like, a lot of saints' names were there. He wrote my name finally. I was so amazed. I asked him why. He said, no, you're a very good sadhak. But he also warned me. He told, be careful with Osho's words because they're very addictive and they're very superficial and people don't realize sadhana is different, bodhana is different. So the point is, I would request anybody who is doing Osho sadhana, they all graduate, they come to mantras, they come to ritual, they come to the other end of the thing. The fascination about Osho's sadhana is about the sexual part of it. But of course, these days it's so much available. I've seen about sexual sublimation, Pariyanga yoga. It is so available, like Mantak Chia, who talk about a lot of things in this particular manner. Of course, that time it was vogue. He wrote the book Sex to Super Consciousness. Of course, I practiced dynamic meditation. I practiced his Kundalini, Nada Brahm. I have attended his initial meditation. I always found it was good, but then it was not something magical. Like all good things in life, Osho was a beautiful opening. In fact, I had my first spiritual experiences reading his single book, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. In the introduction, Patanjali talks about Abhyasa Vairagya Iti Yoga. Now, you want to master yoga, you need Abhyasa and Vairagya. I used to go on reading it again and again and sit for hours together. And what a book. It really changed my life. It's called Alpha, the Yoga Alpha and the Omega. He was a fantastic, he could produce so many books because he will record, type, and then the book used to come out. And of course, I learnt a lot about Taoism and I learnt a lot about Tantra, Zen Buddhism. The initial opening came from that. But later, as you graduate, you realize from UKG, LKG, you have to start moving on. And he was a great man, of course, no doubt, but he was more of a commentator. He is like Harsha Bhogle, who could comment about anything and everything without playing a cricket, and wonderful commentary. I think Bhagwan Ramana must have got that kind of a voice. He would have become tremendously world famous. About witnessing, I've never seen a guy who could explain it so well, so deep. Probably he never witnessed himself. And absolutely a great reader, a great philosopher, Harsha Bhogle. But sometimes it's very beautiful to travel with Harsha Bhogle, because you realize sometimes you need commentators, you need philosophers, you need poets. But after all, at the end of the day, you come back and ask yourself that, do you read a real guru? A guru will shock you. That's what very beautifully Jalaluddin Rumi said. I was raw, cooked, burnt and served before God. That's what a guru would do. But Osho Rajneesh, a man of immense knowledge and a man who spoke, who broke many things in his tradition, who could combine the Western psychotherapy, and he was bold enough to call Freud a fraud, and he broke the very back of the Western psychotherapy, and he inspired the LSN model. And what a man. Full of controversies, sound, so much of court cases running here and there. Of course, that is what you would expect from a tantric. And keep watching. You will always find these things important. But I request you, are going to do a very deep sadhana, read Osho book, but never try to follow the meditation technique, because it will never lead you to God. Thank you so much.